But anyway, moving on to the next topic, man. So we did a couple of segments in the past on Undisputed and Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe and the tension that was growing on that show over the past year and a half. And we also did a segment on Shannon Sharpe leaving Undisputed. So we thought he was leaving Undisputed. But here recently, Stephen A. Smith went on the Joe Budden podcast and he said that what we think was Shannon Sharpe leaving, it was actually him being pushed out from Undisputed. So, D-Lo, how do you feel about this comment that he said? Now, he didn't say it was. He said it was fact on the podcast, but all we can do is speculate because no actual story has come out. But how do you feel about what Stephen A. said?
So, I mean, like you said, he said it was fact. Stephen A. is a staple in the sports and entertainment industry when it comes to his show, First Take, when it comes to his personality, when it comes to talking sports in general. So you can only take what he says. You can assume that what he said is fact. He now works with Shannon on a daily basis, or he's on the show twice a day.
I think Monday and Tuesday mornings. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So he's on the show twice a week. And so you can only, and they went to, we just talked about Deion in Colorado. They went to the Colorado game last week for the home opener. So they were one of the couple of the celebrities that I was mentioning that was at the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they've shared multiple stories and, he knows the intricacies of what happened with Shannon and Skip. But I would rather have heard this come from Shannon or Skip when it comes to this matter, because it just, you never want to hear something come secondhand, because now
sure.
it's always two sides to the story, right? It's the side of the person, it's the side of the other person, and it's three sides actually. Then it's the truth. So somewhere in between there, I'm sure not Skip. I sound like Shannon calling Stephen A. Skip. I'm sure that Shannon and Stephen A. are on one side. We probably will hear either on Undisputed or on his own podcast. We'll probably hear Skip Bayless's side of it, unless it's some type of contract negating them from saying anything about it altogether. And then if that does happen, then I'm sure we'll hear Shannon's side of it. I would have rather heard this come from Shannon, though. And like I've said before multiple times, he's a better person than me, because had I been pushed out, I don't know how contracts work in the sports and entertainment industry when it comes to the media outlets, but they would have had to just let me go and pay me while my time was off until I found my other job. I know that's how it is with regular 9 to 5. You get fired, then you get unemployment. I don't know how it is with the contracts. If you leave on your own, you don't get paid, or you still get the rest of your. I don't know how that works, but they would have to let me go, and I also would have let everybody know that they pushed me out rather than saying I'm leaving on my own. So he's a better person than me.
Yeah, because I was definitely under the impression from the way that things materialized with Undisputed and Shannon Sharpe that he was leaving because of course, things that were happening on set. The relationship between him and Skip were becoming a little bit, tumultuous. If I even said that word right.
We'll look it up later. We'll just say it is right now.
For sure. Siri got it. But and that's why we're talking about it. It's small talk. Our brains getting so small. I can just look it up. But but it just seemed like Shannon was just ready to go because he just couldn't take it no more. But if he was actually pushed out, like you said, now that Stephen A. has put it out there to the world that he was pushed out, I feel like now Shannon has to come out and say something. And who knows if they do have something in their contract to where they can't say anything. But if it feels like now, since Shannon has said, yeah, he was pushed out, you can take that as fact. That is fact. That is fact. You might not hear from him. Yeah, but that's fact. Yeah. You can believe that. That's fact. You know how you talk. But so now Shannon gonna have
I saw him. I actually saw him when you were doing that, though. That's funny.
That's fact. But now Shannon gonna have to come out and say something to where it's like, what Stephen A. is he gonna have to come out to some extent and say it's some truth to it, because they and I can see it on the side of this too, D-Lo, where it's like they couldn't come. The tension was mounting so heavy, and they couldn't come to an agreement on how they were going to. Because of course that's Skip show. Undisputed is Skip show. He is the captain of that ship in so many different ways. Now, with Shannon Sharpe been on that show for so long, it was kind of a misunderstanding of who was actually the leader of that show, because his personality was taken over in such a high regard. But what I feel like, and this is just speculation on my side, is that he was pushed out in a sense of he was trying to make the management of Undisputed know, the producers know, like, hey, sometimes he be saying some stuff that be ruffling my feathers, and I need y'all to figure out a way to handle Skip. And if y'all can't, then I got to go, because it ain't gonna be too many times that I'm gonna take my glasses off and have to hold myself back from punching him in his face, because he done said something that I don't agree with, and he done disrespected me, and then called me basically a bum in so many different words. So it's like, y'all got to figure out how to handle Skip and the things that he be saying, because he be wilding. And that's what that's what I think he said to the producers. And they was like, well, it's Skip show. And he was like, well, I got to go then. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's that, but also the fact that Shannon was becoming, when you think of Undisputed, when Shannon was there, you think more of Shannon than Skip, because of all of the viral moments that Shannon had rather than Skip. I mean, Skip has always been Skip. He's always said some outlandish stuff about whatever player he's hating on this week, whether it be LeBron, whether it be Westbrook, whether it be I don't even know whoever else he wants to disregard, or whether he's talking on the same lines with Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, where he's
the Cowboys
to the Cowboys to the highest regards. But Shannon has become, like, we all call him Unk, what I mean? Because of what he's done on Undisputed. So I think he was probably pushed out because Skip saw his light dimming with him on the show. And so he had to be like, all right, listen, we might have to get rid of him because he's becoming too big. Let him go do his own thing, because he also has Club Shay Shay, which has 1 million followers, 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So does Skip. Skip has his own podcast on YouTube, which only has 134,000 subscribers. So you can see, like, his light as the mainstay in sports debate is starting to dim, and he's not faring with that well. And I think you said he told his wife if she's gonna be mad that he's getting up to go talk about sports rather than doing something with him, well, then she can just stay where he is, or they can get a divorce.
Yeah, he basically said if he had to choose between his career as a sportscaster and his marriage, he's choosing his career as a sportscaster. 100 every day, all day. Yeah.
So there you have it. He's gonna be like a coach that coached all the way up until his death. That's going to be Skip. He's going to try to be Joe Paterno.
He's going to be Joe Paterno.
Yeah, he's going to try to be a sportscaster as long as he can, and then he's going to die. And because of that, though, he has helped a lot of people become who they are. Stephen A's one,
for sure.
Shannon Sharpe is one. Now they have teamed together, and they're going against Skip, and he's trying to bring in a whole batch of new sportscasters and personalities. We're gonna see. I think, but for the long haul, that portion, I think the reason that Shannon was pushed out is because Skip saw his light dimming as the mainstay, or the main person of Undisputed, and it was time to let go of Shannon amongst all the other disputes and spats that they had on the show as well.
For sure, man. And it's kind of sad, man, because for a smooth 6 years, man, that was one of the best morning sports talk shows out for a smooth 6 years. I listened to it on the morning driving to work because I couldn't get up early enough to actually watch it. So I just listened to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, just listening to it. Like, I want to hear what kind of debate they had today about whatever the topics were. And it was a really good show. And you saw the effects that it took on Undisputed whenever whenever he actually left, that they had to take a month and a half off because Skip couldn't carry that show by himself. He couldn't carry that show by himself. He low key needed Shannon Sharpe or a personality like him, which there is no personality like Shannon Sharpe unless we talk about Coach Prime. But you need a personality like him to keep that thing going now, because Shannon did such a good job on that show. Like, I watched that show for Shannon Sharpe. I watched it for Unk. I didn't watch it for Skip, but because I knew Skip was gonna say something stupid and it was gonna be like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And especially when you talk about the Cowboys. Like, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm like, oh my God, you are ODing right now. Like, stop glazing, my dog. Like, chill out. But it's funny like I said, it's funny the effect that had when he left. And now he's trying to bring on a team of people with the Keyshawn Johnsons of the world and, players like that kind of have a similar personality, but not necessarily so it's like it's gonna be funny to see how well First Take does now with just the Mondays and Tuesdays, and how well Undisputed goes in the future with the team of people that they bringing around Skip now, in opposed to just having that one-on-one debate. So it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be fun to see, man. It's gonna be fun to see.
Yep.
Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far and you like what you see, there's an episode on the screen right here. Make sure you click that and view that. I think you're gonna love it. Also, hit that subscribe button that's right here too, if you don't mind. We got a goal of 450. We're trying to get there. Thank y'all for getting us to 400. And also, we're on all these streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcast.